My husband brought home a mistress, and actually lied that I was his daughter. I played along, sweetly calling her new mommy, and readily accepted the Chanel and Cartier she gave me. She thought she was raising a daughter, but I was playing a grand game. When she offered $1 million bride price to help me get divorced, and my husband ended up with nothing and his reputation ruined, he finally understood that I had been the director of this deep father-daughter affection drama all along. The doorbell rang as I was wearing Ethan Miller's old t-shirt, nestled on the sofa revising a proposal that was due tomorrow, a proposal that should have been his job. Standing outside the door was a young and beautiful woman, exquisitely made up, dressed in designer clothes, and carrying the latest Dior handbag. When she saw me, her eyes hesitated for a moment. Then she showed a gentle and careful smile. "Hello, is Ethan home?" Her voice was very sweet. I sized her up, and I already had the answer in my mind. Ethan Miller, my husband, had once again failed to control his lower body. "He's not here," I said lazily, leaning against the doorframe. "Is there something you need?" A blush crept onto the woman's face, and she waved the men's jacket in her hand somewhat embarrassedly. Ethan's jacket was left at my place, and I'm bringing it to him." The jacket was Armani, one I had just accompanied him to buy last month. Left at her place? Could the implication be any clearer? If it were before, I would probably have thrown a fit on the spot, or slammed the door and told her to get out. But at this moment, looking at her clear and somewhat shy eyes, something in a corner of my heart suddenly moved. 5 years of marriage, from college classmates to a bare marriage couple, and then to the open and secret struggles in the workplace. I no longer have any love for Ethan, only deep-seated fatigue and disgust. The divorce agreement has long been drafted, waiting for the right opportunity. Maybe this is the opportunity? I didn't get angry, but instead forced a smile and stepped aside. "So you're Ethan's friend, please come in." The woman was stunned for a moment, seemingly not expecting me to be so easy to talk to. She hesitated and walked in, her eyes quickly scanning the living room before finally landing on me, with a hint of inquiry. "Are you Ethan's sister?" she asked tentatively. I almost laughed out loud. A sister? When did Ethan Miller, the only child, suddenly have a sister? It seems that his storytelling skills have improved a lot in order to pick up girls. I decided to play along with him. "No." I shook my head, deliberately putting on an innocent look, tilting my head to look at her. "I am his daughter." The woman's eyes widened instantly, her mouth slightly open, a look of disbelief on her face. She looked at me, then at the coat in her hand, her expression a fascinating mix of emotions. "Daughter?" she murmured, her voice changing its tone. "Ethan, he has a daughter?" "Yes," I nodded, walking over and affectionately taking her arm, naturally leading her towards the sofa. "Didn't Dad tell you?" "No wonder. My mother passed away early. Dad probably was afraid you'd mind." The woman's body visibly stiffened for a moment, but quickly relaxed, and a look of understanding mixed with pity appeared on her face. "So that's how it is. Poor child." She gently patted the back of my hand, her tone full of sympathy. "He told me his wife died in an accident." "Well, an accident." I lowered my head, my voice muffled, perfectly portraying the vulnerability of a child who had lost her mother, but I was sneering inwardly. "An accident?" "Yes, it was quite an accident. Probably an accidental discovery that he used drugs to steal my promotion opportunity, and an accidental encounter with him and a receptionist fooling around in the office." Then, the woman looked at me, her eyes softening even more. "What's your name? How old are you?" "My name is Olivia." I gave my English name. As for my age, I paused, blinked. "I'm 16. I'm in high school. I'm 36 this year, but I work from home all year round and don't dress up much. Plus I have a baby face." At this moment, wearing a large t-shirt, I really look like a student. The woman, I later learned her name was Chloe Davis, seemed to completely believe it. The way she looked at me was full of maternal glow, which made me a little uncomfortable, but more than that, I found it ridiculous. Ethan Miller actually concocted such an absurd lie in order to deceive this seemingly innocent girl. Widowed? And with a 16-year-old daughter? How did he come up with that? "Olivia." Chloe held my hand, her tone as gentle as water. "From now on, you can call me Aunt Chloe, or, if you want." She paused, with anticipation on her face. "Calling me Mom would also be fine." I rolled my eyes inwardly but put on a surprised expression. "Really? Can I call you Mom? New Mom?" Chloe's eyes lit up, and she nodded vigorously. "Of course." "Great." New mom. I called sweetly, and gave her a hug. The perfume is Jo Malone's Bluebell, so she has good taste, and her financial strength should be okay too. Next, it will be a information-probing dialogue led by me. New mom. What do you do for a living? You look so amazing. I held my face and looked at her with admiration. I work as a clerk at a trading company in Midtown. Chloe smiled a little shyly. It's nothing special. A clerk? Judging by her clothes and appearance, she doesn't look like an ordinary clerk. Either she comes from a wealthy family, or Ethan gave her a lot of money. I'm more inclined to the former. So, how did you meet my dad? I continued to ask, my tone full of curiosity. It's quite a coincidence, Chloe said, a blush rising on her face and a sweet look in her eyes. One time I was late leaving work and was harassed by some drunk people. Ethan, your dad happened to be passing by and saved me. A hero saves the beauty? Cliched, but effective. Especially for a girl like Chloe, who seems simple. Ethan Miller has a way with people's hearts, especially women's hearts, that's for sure. Wow, Dad's amazing, I exclaimed at the right time, my eyes sparkling. So, have you known each other for a long time? It's been about half a year. Chloe's voice lowered, seeming a little shy. Half a year? I calculated the time, and it was exactly when I was away on a business trip, dealing with a difficult client for him. He had the leisure to play the hero saving the damsel in distress. We talked for a long time, or rather, I was guiding her for most of the time. I indirectly learned that Chloe firmly believed that I was Ethan's daughter, and she was full of admiration and adoration for Ethan. She even naively thought that Ethan hadn't told her the truth because he had lost his wife and it was not easy to raise a daughter alone, and he was afraid that she would feel burdened. What a silly girl. When sending Chloe off, she took out $500 from her wallet and handed it to me. Olivia, this is spending money from your new mom. Don't tell your dad. It's our little secret. $500? Quite generous. I looked at the crisp bills, took them without hesitation, and smiled even sweeter. Thank you, new mom. You're the best. New mom. Chloe smiled as she watched me looking happy, her eyes filled with satisfaction. As soon as I closed the door, the smile on my face instantly vanished. Looking at the $500 in my hand, I casually tossed it onto the coffee table. Ethan Miller, you've really found me a good mom. However, this doesn't seem like such a bad thing. I picked up my phone, found Ethan's WhatsApp, and sure enough, I saw Chloe Davis's name in his recent contacts, with a profile picture of her. I didn't hesitate to click add friend. The verification message I wrote was, new mom. This is Olivia. The friend request was accepted almost instantly. Opening Chloe's Instagram, the background picture is a European castle, and the feed is filled with various luxury goods, afternoon tea, art exhibitions, and travel photos. She is indeed a rich girl. There aren't many posts, but it's clear that she lives a comfortable life without many worries. The latest post was yesterday, with the caption, meeting you is the best arrangement. The picture is a huge bouquet of blue roses. No need to guess. The person who sent the flowers must be Ethan. I chuckled and left a comment under her post. Stepmom's moments are so beautiful. Starry eyes. Chloe quickly replied, do you like it? I'll take you with me next time. I replied, okay. I love my new mom the most. Love heart. In the following days, Chloe and I interacted frequently online. I played the role of a daughter who craved maternal love and was innocent and naive, while Chloe was very caring and attentive to me. Olivia, Chloe said, holding my hand, her voice gentle enough to drip water. From now on, you can call me Aunt Chloe, or, if you want, she paused, with expectation on her face, you can call me Mom if you want. I rolled my eyes inwardly, but showed a surprised expression on my face. Really? Can I call you Mom? New mom? Chloe's eyes lit up and she nodded vigorously. Of course you can. Great. New mom. I called sweetly and hugged her. The perfume is Jo Malone's Bluebell, so it seems she has good taste, and her economic strength should be okay too. Next up is an information-probing conversation led by me. New mom. What do you do for work? You look so amazing. I held my face and looked at her with admiration. I work as a clerk in a trading company in Midtown. Chloe smiled a little embarrassedly. It's not that impressive. A clerk? Judging by her attire, she doesn't look like an ordinary clerk. Either she comes from a wealthy family, or Ethan has given her a lot of money. I'm more inclined to believe the former. Then how did you meet my dad? I continued to ask, My voice full of curiosity. It's quite a coincidence, Chloe said, a blush appearing on her face and a sweet look in her eyes. One time, I was working late and was harassed by some drunk people. Ethan, your dad happened to pass by and saved me. A hero saves the beauty? Cliched, but effective. Especially for a girl like Chloe who seems simple. Ethan Miller really has a way with people's hearts, especially women's. Wow, Daddy is so amazing, I exclaimed at the right moment, my eyes sparkling. So, have you known each other for a long time? Well, about half a year, I guess. Chloe's voice lowered, seeming a little shy. Half a year? I calculated the time. At that time, I was away on a business trip, helping him with a difficult client. He, on the other hand, had the leisure to play the hero saving the damsel. We talked for a long time, or rather, I was guiding her most of the time. I learned indirectly that Chloe firmly believed that I was Ethan's daughter and was full of admiration and love for Ethan. She even naively believed that Ethan hadn't told her the truth because he had lost his wife and it wasn't easy to raise a daughter alone, fearing she would feel burdened. What a silly girl. When sending Chloe away, she took out $500 from her wallet and handed it to me. Olivia, this is pocket money from your new mom. Don't tell your dad, consider it our little secret. $500? Quite generous. I looked at the crisp bills and took them without the slightest hesitation, my smile even sweeter. Thank you, new mom, you're the best. New mom. Chloe looked at how happy I was and smiled as well, her eyes filled with satisfaction. Closing the door, the smile on my face vanished instantly. Looking at the $500 in my hand, I casually tossed it onto the coffee table. Ethan Miller, you really found me a good mom. However, this doesn't seem like such a bad thing after all. I picked up my phone, found Ethan's WhatsApp, and sure enough, I saw Chloe Davis's name in his recent contacts. The profile picture was her. I added her as a friend without hesitation. The verification message I wrote was, "New mom. This is Olivia." The friend request was almost instantly accepted. Opening Chloe's Instagram, the background picture is a European castle, and the feed is filled with various luxury goods, afternoon tea, art exhibitions, and travel photos. As expected, she's a wealthy heiress. There aren't many posts, but it's clear that she lives a prosperous life with few worries. The latest post was yesterday, captioned, "Meeting you is the best arrangement." The picture is a huge bouquet of blue roses. No need to guess. The person who sent the flowers must be Ethan. I chuckled and left a comment under her post. Your new mom's moments look so beautiful. Starry eyes. Chloe quickly replied, "Do you like it? I'll take you with me next time." I replied, okay. I love my new mom the most. Love. In the following days, Chloe and I interacted frequently online. I played the role of a daughter who craved maternal love and was innocent and naive, while Chloe was very caring, showing concern and warmth. Olivia, the weather is getting colder. Remember to wear more clothes. Olivia, you're about to have exams, right? Don't exhaust yourself. Olivia, what do you want to eat? Mom will bring it to you. Mom, she called out so naturally, and I listened, gradually becoming numb. At first, I felt a little uncomfortable, but it was quickly replaced by the pleasure of revenge. Ethan, don't blame me for the consequences of what you sowed. This day, I posted a status update on Instagram with a photo of Chanel high heels in a shop window. The caption read, "It's my birthday next week, and I really want these shoes, but it's a pity that Dad definitely won't agree to buy such an expensive gift." Crying. Not long after posting, Chloe liked it and sent a private message, "Olivia, do you like these shoes?" I immediately replied, yes, I love it, but it's too expensive. It costs over $1,000. Chloe, it's okay. New mommy will give it to you. Consider it your birthday gift. I pretended to decline. No need. New mommy, it's too expensive. Dad will be unhappy if he finds out. Chloe, don't worry. This is our little secret. We won't tell him. I'll send it to you on your birthday. Thank you, new mom. You're so good to me. Love you. I sent a string of flying kiss emojis. Putting down my phone, the curve of my lips became even colder. As expected, pure and wealthy. Ethan, you really sent me a perfect ATM. On my birthday, Chloe showed up on time as expected, carrying a huge Chanel shopping bag. Happy birthday, Olivia. She handed me the bag, her face full of smiles. I took it with surprise, opened the box, and there lay quietly the pair of high heels I had been dreaming of. with a classic black and white color scheme, elegant and charming. Wow, thank you, new mom. I hugged her exaggeratedly. I love it so much. I'm glad you like it. Chloe looked at my excitement with gentle eyes. Try them on to see if they fit. I couldn't wait to put on the shoes and walked around the living room a few times, the heels tapping against the floor making a crisp sound. Just right, new mom. You have such a good eye. That's good then. Chloe nodded with satisfaction, then took out a small Cartier box. I'll give you this too. I was taken aback for a moment, opened the box, and inside was a delicate rose gold necklace with Cartier's classic double C logo as a pendant. New mom, this, I feigned surprise. This is too precious. I can't accept it. Take it. Chloe stuffed the necklace into my hand. This is a mother's gift to her daughter. It's nothing. She paused, and said hesitantly, just, don't let your father see these things for now, okay? I'm afraid he'll think I'm wasting money, or, think I'm spoiling you. I sneered inwardly, exactly what I wanted, but on the surface, I nodded obediently. Yes, I know, new mommy, this is our little secret. Only then did Chloe feel relieved. She chatted with me for a while, told me to study hard, and then left reluctantly. Looking at the brand new Chanel high heels and Cartier necklace on the table, I didn't feel a bit of joy, only a kind of icy pleasure. Ethan Miller, you stole my things with despicable means, and I will use your woman to take them back in double. In the days that followed, I became even more extreme. I often complained to Chloe on WhatsApp, saying that my classmates all have beautiful jewelry and bags, but I have nothing. My dad is busy with work and doesn't understand girls' minds. Chloe is overflowing with maternal love and grants me almost everything I ask for. New mommy, Amy wore a Tiffany necklace today and it looked so pretty. The next day, a Tiffany blue box appeared at my door. New mom, my backpack is old. I have my eye on a Gucci backpack. In a few days, Chloe personally delivered the Gucci backpack. New mom, there's a school dance next week, and I don't have suitable earrings. A pair of sparkling Dior pearl earrings was delivered in a timely manner. I don't even need to explicitly say what I want. I just need to reveal a little envy or desire, and Chloe will take the initiative to offer it. She seems to enjoy this feeling of fulfilling her daughter's wishes, and every time she gives a gift, she's even happier than me, the one receiving it. To make her feel at ease when giving, I always add, new mommy, I'll secretly hide these things for now. When you and my dad get married in the future, I'll use them openly. Otherwise, dad will definitely scold me. Chloe firmly believes this and even comforts me. It's okay, Olivia. Once your dad and I settle down, mommy will buy you even more. Looking at her face filled with hopeful anticipation, I felt no guilt whatsoever. You offered it yourself, didn't you? Besides, these things should have been mine in the first place. If Ethan hadn't drugged me 5 years ago and cost me my promotion, I would have been able to afford these luxuries with my own ability. Ethan Miller has been coming home later and later recently, and the perfume on him has changed from Chloe's Bluebell to scents I don't recognize. I know he can't have just one Chloe, but that's not important, as long as this rich, naive, and innocent Chloe is still under my control. This evening, Ethan came home on time, which was rare. I deliberately wore all the jewelry Chloe had given me, a Cartier necklace, a Tiffany bracelet, Dior earrings, and walked back and forth in the living room in those Chanel heels. Ethan saw it as soon as he walked in, and his face immediately darkened. Where did you get all this stuff? He frowned, his tone unfriendly. Oh, an aunt gave it to me, I replied casually, pretending to adjust my earrings. What aunt? Ethan's eyes sharpened. How come I don't know you know such a rich aunt? It's just an aunt I met some time ago. She thought I was pitiful, so she recognized me as her goddaughter. I lowered my head, my voice soft, with a hint of grievance. She said she didn't have a daughter and that I looked like her daughter when she was young. Ethan obviously didn't believe me. He walked over, pinched my chin, and forced me to look up. Sarah Lee, tell me the truth. Did Chloe Davis give it to you? Sarah Lee, in his words, is my real name. No. I struggled to break free from his hand, my eyes instantly turning red. Dad, how could you think of me like that? Do you think I'm only worthy of cheap things in your eyes? If someone is nice to me, you think it's abnormal? I might as well go all out, I accused, with a sob in my voice. You don't come home all day, and you don't care about me. Now that a kind aunt is being nice to me, you still doubt it. Do you have to see me wearing old clothes and using old things, just like before, to be satisfied? Ethan was choked by my words, and his face became even more unsightly. He probably didn't expect my reaction to be so intense. He tugged at his tie irritably, his tone softening a little, but still suspicious. Then what's this aunt's name? What does she do? How did you meet her? Why should I tell you? I wiped away my tears. Anyway, she treats me very well, much better than you. My own father. Ethan's face was ashen, but he seemed to know that he wouldn't get anything out of me by pressing further. He took a deep breath and changed the subject. All right, let's not talk about that. Sarah, let's talk. We've been married for 5 years now. Shouldn't we consider having a child? A child? I sneered inwardly. Who was it who drugged me at the critical moment of my promotion, causing me to miss the opportunity, and euphemistically called it for the sake of the family? Now you want a child? Do you think I have no value anymore? Or do you want to tie me down with a child? Have a child? I looked at him, my eyes cold. Ethan Miller, do you think our current situation is suitable for having a child? You are never home all day long, and when you come back, you only know how to blame me. Who will take care of the child after it is born? Me? I don't want to end up like my mother, giving up my career for the sake of the family, and ending up losing both money and love. Mentioning my mother, a trace of awkwardness flashed across Ethan's face. My mother was also a strong woman back then. She returned to the family to support his career, but what happened? After he became successful, she was kicked away. Sarah, I know I was wrong before. Ethan tried to lower his posture, but we are in a better financial situation now, so wouldn't it be easy to hire a nanny? And, look at our house, shouldn't we change to a bigger one? I recently took a fancy to a development. The location and environment are good, but the down payment is a bit high. It may be necessary to mortgage our current house and use some savings. Here it comes. Finally, the fox's tail is showing. Wanting a child is fake. Wanting to transfer assets is the real intention, right? Is he afraid that if I divorce him, I'll take half of the family property? Or does he want to get the money out to spend on the woman outside? I sneered inwardly, but remained calm on the surface. Change houses? We are living well in our current house. Why change? Besides, where do we have so much money? Don't worry about the money. Ethan patted my shoulder, his tone carrying a hint of barely perceptible urgency. I recently closed a major project, and the bonus is considerable. As long as we consolidate the money we have on hand, it will definitely be enough. Really? I looked at him, my eyes filled with sarcasm. Your major project? Is that the proposal I stayed up 3 nights to revise for you? Ethan's face stiffened, his eyes flickering. That's not. We're a couple. Helping each other is only natural. Helping each other? I laughed, almost to the point of tears. Ethan Miller, ask yourself honestly, in these past 5 years, how many times has your so-called helping each other been just using me as a free gun, completing your work for you? And how many times have you kept me locked up at home, solving those technical problems that you simply couldn't handle? My voice grew more and more agitated, and the pent-up grievances and anger of 5 years erupted at this moment. Who was it who vowed that we were equal partners and would work together to build a career? And what happened? When I was most likely to be promoted, you drugged my coffee, embarrassed me in public, and stole the position that should have been mine. Ethan Miller, you are a despicable villain. Ethan's face turned pale, his eyes darting around, afraid to look at me. That was the pain he would always carry in his heart, and it was also the beginning of the complete breakdown of our marriage. Sarah, that matter was my fault. I was confused at the time. He tried to defend himself. Confused at the time? I sneered. Confused at the time can ruin someone else's future? Confused at the time can allow you to trap me at home with peace of mind, while enjoying the fruits of my labor and living a life of debauchery outside? I looked at him and said, word by word, Ethan, it's over between us a long time ago. From the moment you drugged me, you were no longer my husband, just a burden I needed to get rid of as soon as possible. I prepared the divorce agreement a long time ago, waiting for you to slip up, or waiting for an opportunity to make you leave with nothing. Ethan looked at me in shock, seemingly not expecting that I had already planned everything. You. He opened his mouth, but couldn't say a word. I took a deep breath, suppressed the surging emotions, and returned to my previous calmness, even with a hint of sarcasm. So, don't talk to me about children, and don't even think about our joint property. As for these jewels, I shook the Tiffany bracelet on my wrist. Consider it the mental distress compensation you paid me in advance. After all, You were the one who sent the new mom to me, weren't you? Ethan's face turned from green to white, and finally he glared at me fiercely and slammed the door. The living room returned to silence. I all pretense and collapsed wearily on the sofa, recalling the past with Ethan, from the youthful love on the university campus to the naked marriage and struggle after graduation, to the workplace squeeze and marital betrayal. My heart was already riddled with holes. That drugging incident was the last straw that broke the camel's back. From that day on, I completely gave up on him. Divorce was inevitable. I was just waiting for the best opportunity, an opportunity to make him pay the biggest price, and the appearance of Chloe undoubtedly accelerated this process. To be honest, I don't have much ill feeling towards Chloe. She's simple, kind, and even a bit naive. She was completely fooled by the lies Ethan fabricated and was willing to give to me, this fake daughter. In some ways, I even feel sorry for her, but sympathy is sympathy. I hate Ethan Miller more. He ruined my career, betrayed our marriage, and turned me into a resentful woman. Chloe is just one of his many victims. Even without Chloe, there would be another, sweet and innocent, girl. Instead of letting Ethan continue to live happily, I'd rather use Chloe to let him taste the bitterness of disgrace and destitution. I'm sorry, Chloe. If you have to blame someone, blame yourself for falling in love with the wrong person. In the days that followed, I continued to cultivate a relationship with Chloe. She became more and more caring towards me, and gifts arrived like a flowing stream. From designer bags to skincare products, from concert tickets to weekend getaways. As long as I showed a little interest, she would arrange it immediately. I'm increasingly certain that Chloe is just a rich, naive girl who has been too well protected by her family. She has no concept of money and is completely unprepared for the treacherousness of people's hearts. Ethan Miller's portrayal of a deeply affectionate widower and loving father in front of her has made her deeply infatuated and unable to extricate herself. I accepted her gifts with a clear conscience, while constantly strengthening our mother-daughter relationship. New mommy, you're so good to me, much better than daddy. New mommy, when are you going to marry my daddy? I really want you to become my real mommy soon. Mom, if you marry my dad, we can be together forever. Under my constant urging, Chloe also began to subtly hint at marriage to Ethan. Of course, Ethan always brushed it off with excuses like the daughter is still young and the time is not right. He just wanted to enjoy the convenience and vanity Chloe brought, and didn't really want to be bound by marriage, especially before getting rid of me, their original wife. Although Chloe is naive, she's not stupid. Ethan's repeated excuses made her feel a little lost and uneasy. This day, Chloe asked me out for afternoon tea, with a hint of worry on her face. Olivia, she stirred her coffee, hesitant to speak. Do you think your father doesn't really want to marry me? My heart skipped a beat, knowing that the crucial moment was approaching. How could that be? I looked at her with feigned surprise. Dad loves you very much. He just, maybe feels like I'm not ready to accept a new mother yet. After all, my mother has only been gone a few years. I once again used my deceased mother as a shield, while secretly observing Chloe's reaction. As expected, Chloe was persuaded by what I said, and the worry on her face lessened a lot. Is that so? She murmured. Maybe I'm just too impatient. New mom, don't overthink it, I said sincerely, holding her hand. Dad really cares about you. He just needs a little time. And, I think, maybe it's because he hasn't met your family yet. He's a little unsure? The time is almost right. Chloe's eyes lit up. That's right. What you said makes sense. My parents will be back from Europe next month, and then I'll arrange for them to meet. I was secretly delighted that the fish had finally taken the bait, but I remained calm on the surface. Meeting the parents? That's great. But new mom, you have to prepare well for the first meeting. My dad is a bit of a show-off, so you'd better prepare some valuable and presentable gifts. That way, he'll feel that you value him, and it will also make your parents feel that he is very sincere. Yes, you're right to remind me. Chloe nodded vigorously. Then I have to think carefully about what gifts to give. Watching her thoughtful look, I lowered my eyes to hide the calculation in them. Ethan Miller, your good days are coming to an end. In the following weeks, Chloe was busy preparing to meet the parents, while I secretly observed Ethan's movements. He seemed to have noticed Chloe's intention to force marriage, and he came home even less often, and urged me even more urgently about the house swap plan I proposed. Finally, the day arrived when Chloe's parents returned to the country and both sides agreed to meet. Ethan lied that the company had an urgent project to work overtime on and would not be coming home that night. I thoughtfully sent him a WhatsApp message. Dad, you're working hard overtime. Do you want me to bring you some midnight snack? Ethan quickly replied, no need. I'm busy, don't bother me. A guilty conscience. I found the restaurant they agreed on, a high-end French restaurant in the city center, known for its privacy. I booked the private room next to theirs in advance. At 7 o'clock in the evening, I arrived at the restaurant on time. Through the carefully designed one-way glass on the wall of the private room, of course, this was arranged by me in advance. I could clearly see the scene in the next private room. Chloe was arm in arm with a refined middle-aged man and a well-maintained middle-aged woman, presumably her parents, exchanging greetings with Ethan with smiles on their faces. Ethan was wearing a well-tailored suit, his hair neatly combed, with a just-right humble smile on his face, doing his best to play the part of a successful, stable, and reliable golden bachelor in every gesture. Uncle and Aunt, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Ethan Miller, Chloe's friend. Ethan bowed slightly, adopting a very humble posture. Chloe's father, Mr. Davis, sized him up for a few moments, giving a lukewarm Chloe's mother, Mrs. Davis, maintained a polite smile. Chloe smoothed things over from the side. Dad, Mom, Ethan is very good to me. Next, it's Ethan's personal performance time. He began to talk endlessly about his glorious resume: Ivy League graduate, correspondence course, Wall Street elite, laid off, currently working as a senior executive in a multinational technology company, actually just a middle manager, and that's thanks to me, with an annual salary of millions, before tax, and most of it depends on my project bonus. He boasted about his connections and resources, painting a magnificent blueprint for the future, as if the entire Silicon Valley was owned by his family. Chloe listened with adoration in her eyes, while her parents had subtle expressions, occasionally exchanging meaningful glances. I watched coldly, listening to Ethan's false words, and felt disgusted. The time was about right. I took out my phone and dialed Ethan's number. In the next room, Ethan was getting excited when his phone rang abruptly. He frowned, glanced at the caller ID, his expression changed slightly, and he subconsciously wanted to hang up, but I didn't give him a chance. The moment the call connected, I said in a voice that was neither too loud nor too soft, Daddy, why aren't you back yet? I'm so scared being home alone. My voice traveled through the receiver, clearly reaching the ears of everyone in the next room. Ethan's face instantly turned pale, and the hand holding the phone trembled slightly. Chloe and her parents were all stunned and looked at him in unison. Yes, it's a company matter, Ethan explained, his voice slightly distorted. I'll handle it right away. He hung up the phone in a hurry, cold sweat already seeping from his forehead. The atmosphere in the private room instantly became awkward and strange. Ethan, Chloe's mother took the lead in breaking the silence, her tone carrying a hint of inquiry. Who was that on the phone just now? It's a distant niece of mine. Ethan forced himself to remain calm, but his eyes darted around. Her parents aren't around, so she's temporarily staying at my house. Niece? Chloe was also stunned, looking at him questioningly. Why haven't I heard you mention her before? She's a distant relative. We don't usually keep in touch. Ethan's lies were becoming more and more full of holes. Mr. Davis put down his knife and fork, his sharp gaze falling on Ethan. Mr. Miller, you seem to be hiding a lot of things from us. Ethan was sweating even more profusely. He was restless, feeling like he was sitting on pins and needles. He knew that this carefully planned meeting the parents had been completely ruined. Uncle and Aunt, I'm really sorry. He stood up abruptly. There's indeed an urgent matter at the company, and I must go back to deal with it immediately. Another day I will formally visit. After speaking, without waiting for Chloe's parents' response, he almost fled in panic. Chloe watched his hurried departure. The smile on her face disappeared, replaced by deep confusion and doubt. I raised the corner of my mouth in satisfaction, paid the bill and left. Ethan Miller, this is just the beginning. The next evening, Ethan came home with a face as dark as a thundercloud. He sat on the sofa in silence, smoking, and the whole living room was filled with a choking smell of smoke. I pretended not to know anything and walked over with a glass of milk. Dad, you're back? Did you work late last night? I called you but you didn't answer. Ethan suddenly raised his head, staring at me with a sinister look. You called me last night? Yeah, I blinked, looking innocent. I wanted to ask you when you were coming back, but it sounded very noisy on your end, so I hung up. Dad, were you really working late at the office last night? It sounded like you were in a restaurant to me. Ethan's face turned even more unpleasant. He suddenly stood up and violently knocked the milk glass out of my hand. The glass crashed to the ground with a sharp, shattering sound, and milk splashed everywhere. Sarah Lee, are you doing this on purpose? He growled, veins popping on his forehead. What exactly are you trying to do? What did I do? I was startled by his sudden outburst of anger, took a step back, and my eyes instantly turned red. I'm just concerned about you. Why are you so angry? Concerned about me? Ethan sneered. I think you're just trying to stir up trouble. Do you know something? Are you deliberately trying to ruin things between Chloe and me? He suddenly realized he had let something slip and swallowed the rest of his words. Chloe? New mom? I seized the loophole in his words and feigned surprise. Dad, were you with the new mom last night? Didn't you say you were working overtime? Why did you lie to me? Ethan was speechless at my question, his face turning green and white. He pointed at me, so angry that he couldn't speak. At the same time, things were clearly not so calm on Chloe's side. Ethan's strange behavior and the sudden phone call from a niece had planted seeds of doubt in her mind. She began to indirectly inquire about the niece from Ethan, but Ethan was always vague or simply changed the subject. Women's intuition is keen. Although Chloe is simple, she is not stupid. She began to pay attention to Ethan's words and deeds, trying to find flaws. The turning point happened on a weekend. Chloe and I arranged to go shopping together. We walked side by side on the bustling commercial street. Chloe was still enthusiastically introducing me to various new clothes and bags, but I could feel that she was a little absent-minded. Suddenly, there was a commotion ahead, surrounded by many people. We walked over curiously and saw a fashionable woman grabbing another young girl's hair, cursing, "You little vixen, how dare you seduce my husband? I'll tear your face apart." A young girl struggled, crying, while a man in a suit next to her tried to pull them apart, only to be scratched several times by the original wife. A typical scene of the original wife catching the mistress. The onlookers pointed and talked about it. Chloe looked at the chaotic scene in front of her, her face a little pale. She pulled me and whispered, "Olivia, let's go." I nodded and followed her away from the crowd. "New mom," I said, as if casually, "why do you think that man betrayed his wife? His wife seems to love him so much." Chloe was silent for a moment, then sighed softly. "Maybe, that's just how love is, full of variables and lies, but I think that, in any case, cheating is wrong. If you love, be honest with each other. If you don't love anymore, you should break up amicably, instead of hurting others with lies." Her tone was a little wistful, and there was a hint of imperceptible confusion in her eyes. I knew that what happened last night and this scene in front of me had shaken her trust in Ethan. Just then, an accident happened. A food delivery guy on an electric scooter swerved sharply to avoid a pedestrian, and the handlebar rubbed against my arm. Caught off guard, I staggered, and a burning pain shot through my arm. "Olivia, how are you?" Chloe exclaimed in surprise, quickly helping me up. I rolled up my sleeve and saw a long cut on my arm, with fresh blood seeping out. "Are you okay? Quick, let's go to the hospital." Chloe's face turned pale, and without explanation, she pulled me into a taxi and headed straight to the nearest hospital. While treating the wound and registering information in the emergency room, the nurse routinely asked, "Name, age?" I subconsciously answered, "Sarah Lee, 36 years old." As soon as I finished speaking, I suddenly realized something was wrong. "I'm done for." I let it slip. I turned my head stiffly and, as expected, saw Chloe standing behind me. The color drained from her face instantly, her eyes wide with shock and disbelief. She looked at me, her lips trembling slightly, as if she wanted to say something, but couldn't utter a single word. The nurse gave us a strange look and continued to register. "Sarah Lee, 36 years old, right?" I bit the bullet and nodded. "Yes." The air seemed to freeze. Chloe's expression went from shock to confusion, then to a hint of understanding, and finally settled into an icy calm. She didn't explode on the spot, nor did she question me. She just watched silently as the nurse treated my wound, then paid the bill and picked up the medicine. We were silent all the way from the hospital. The sun was dazzling, but I felt cold all over. I knew that the false mother-daughter veil between Chloe and I had been completely torn off. Back downstairs at my apartment, Chloe stopped, turned around, and looked at me calmly. Her eyes were complex, with anger, disappointment, but more of a clarity after being fooled. Sarah Lee, 36 years old. She repeated my name and age softly, with no discernible emotion in her tone. So, you're not Olivia, not Ethan's daughter, right? Since things have come this far, there's no point in hiding it anymore. I took a deep breath and nodded. Yes, I am Sarah Lee, Ethan Miller's wife. Chloe's body swayed, but she quickly steadied herself. She closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, only cold mockery remained in her eyes. Wife? He told me his wife had died in an accident long ago. He also has a 16-year-old daughter named Olivia. Those are all lies he fabricated. I looked at her and confessed, he doesn't have a daughter. His ex-wife, which is me, is doing just fine. As for why he lied to you like this, I think you should know better than I do. Chloe's face was as pale as paper. She bit her lip tightly, her nails digging deeply into her palm. The anger and humiliation of being deceived made her whole body tremble. Why would he do this? She asked in a hoarse voice, as if asking me, yet also talking to herself. Why would he lie to me? Just because I'm rich? Maybe, I said softly. Or maybe it's to satisfy his pathetic vanity. Or, perhaps both. Chloe suddenly raised her head, looking at me sharply. Then what about you, Sarah Lee? You knew about it all along, didn't you? Why did you cooperate with him in this charade? Why did you accept the things I bought you with such peace of mind? You were using me too, weren't you? Yes, I didn't deny it. I knew he was cheating. I knew he was lying to you. I cooperated with him because I wanted to get revenge on him. As for those things, I paused. Consider them your way of Ethan paying me for my emotional distress and tuition for my stupidity. Chloe's eyes instantly turned cold, filled with anger and disgust. She looked at me as if she were looking at someone as vile and shameless as Ethan. I didn't explain the grievances between Ethan and me, nor did I defend my actions. I knew that nothing I said would matter at that moment. We looked at each other in silence, the air thick with tension and hostility. After a long while, Chloe suddenly laughed, her laughter full of mockery and self-deprecation. Ethan Miller, Sarah Lee, you two are truly a match made in heaven. She took a deep breath, her eyes regaining their firmness. Good, very good. Since you've both been playing me for a fool, don't blame me for being impolite. I raised an eyebrow and looked at her. What do you want to do? Chloe looked at me, a complex emotion flashing in her eyes, finally turning into determination. I want to ruin his reputation and leave him with nothing. Sarah Lee, let's join forces. Join forces? I was a little surprised. I thought she would hate me along with him. Are you sure? I looked at her. I took advantage of you and deceived you out of so many things. Those things? Let's just say I'm paying for my own stupidity, Chloe said coldly, compared to those external things. I hate Ethan Miller's deception and manipulation even more. I want to make him pay the price. Watching the flames of revenge burning in her eyes, I knew we had reached an agreement. Good, I said, extending my hand, happy to cooperate. Chloe took my hand, and a cold sensation ran through me. A revenge drama led by two women hurt by the same man has officially begun. What do you want to do? Chloe asked me. It's very simple. I smiled slightly and said my plan. First, we need to stabilize Ethan and make him think he has everything under control. Second, cooperate with him to transfer the property and make him spit out all the money. Finally, give him a fatal blow. I told Chloe this scumbag recipe plan that I had already conceived. In short, it is to let her continue to play the role of a rich daughter who is infatuated with Ethan, constantly asking him for things, while drawing big cakes, making him think that he has climbed a high branch and can struggle for a few decades less. On my side, I will pretend to cooperate with Ethan in transferring property, but I will delay the time for various reasons, while secretly collecting evidence of his cheating and economic crimes. Doesn't he want to move to a bigger house? I sneered. Then let him move. However, only my name can be written on the property certificate. Doesn't he want money to invest? Then let him transfer all the money in our joint account to my name, euphemistically calling it risk avoidance. Chloe's eyes lit up as she listened. That's a great idea. Then I'll be responsible for making him willingly hand over the money. We discussed the details, and Chloe immediately took action. She took the initiative to find Ethan and apologize for the unpleasantness of the previous meeting the parents. She took all the blame on herself, saying it was because she wanted to get married too much that she put pressure on Ethan. Seeing her softened attitude, Ethan returned to his previous gentleness and consideration, naturally overjoyed, and his previous doubts vanished. Then, Chloe started coquettishly making various demands to Ethan, with marriage as the premise. Ethan, when other people's best friends get married, the bride price starts at $1 million US. Ethan, my dad said that after we get married, he wants you to help out at our company, and give you the position of vice president directly, with a salary that will at least double. Ethan, where will we live after we get married? Your apartment is too small. My parents will definitely not agree. We should at least buy a mansion on Fifth Avenue. Faced with the huge temptation of money and position, Ethan completely lost his mind. He began to frantically urge me to take out my savings and mortgage the house. Sarah, that $1 million bride price must be raised as soon as possible. Chloe's family values this a lot. Sarah, let's mortgage the house first. Only with the money can we buy a new house and give Chloe's parents an explanation. Sarah, transfer all the money from our joint account to your name. I'm going to operate on a big project recently, and I'm afraid of risks. It's safer to keep it with you. I outwardly obeyed and pretended to agree to all his requests, but in actual operation, I set obstacles everywhere. Oh dear, the bank loan approval process is so slow. Let's wait a little longer. The wealth management product hasn't matured yet. It would be a huge loss to withdraw it early. The transfer limit is restricted, so I have to transfer it in batches. Can't rush it. Ethan was blinded by the pie in the sky that Chloe painted for him, and he didn't notice these obvious delaying tactics of mine at all. On the contrary, he felt that I was genuinely considering his best interests. At the same time, I wasn't idle either. I started spiking Ethan's diet. Using my minor in nutrition from college, I carefully concocted some special supplements and added them in small amounts to his coffee, soup, and daily drinking water over the long term. These things wouldn't have obvious effects in the short term, but over time, they would be enough to destroy a person's health. Soon, Ethan's body began to show some abnormalities. He started losing hair in large clumps, his gums bled frequently, and he became easily fatigued and listless. He thought it was due to the recent work stress and complained about buying some health products to replenish himself. I feigned concern and recommended several highly effective vitamins to him. Of course, not without my special ingredients in them. Watching him wither away day by day, I felt no pity, only the joy of revenge. The time is ripe. That night, I took the initiative to propose a divorce to Ethan. Ethan, let's get divorced, I said calmly. Ethan was stunned for a moment. Then a fake look of regret and retention appeared on his face. Sarah, why are you saying this all of a sudden? Have I been neglecting you because I've been too busy lately? I know I was wrong. Can you give me another chance? No need, I interrupted him. Our, a predestined affinity or fate, is over. Let's part ways amicably. Ethan pretended to decline a few times, but seeing my firm attitude, he stopped pretending and began to discuss terms. Okay, since you've decided, I'll respect your decision. Look, as we were a couple, let's leave the house to you. As for the savings, I'm a bit tight on cash recently. Could you maybe? He wanted to use this old apartment that we bought together after marriage, but with limited appreciation potential, plus a small amount of cash, to send me away empty-handed. What a great calculation. I sneered inwardly, but remained calm on the surface. Okay, the house is mine. You can decide how much of the savings to give me. I don't have any requests. Seeing how understanding I was, Ethan was overjoyed and immediately agreed, afraid that I would change my mind. We quickly signed the divorce agreement and completed the divorce procedures. The moment I received the divorce certificate, I breathed a long sigh of relief. 5 years. This nightmare is finally over. As for Ethan, he was still immersed in the sweet dream of marrying a rich and beautiful woman and reaching the peak of his life. Holding the divorce certificate, he couldn't wait to find Chloe to announce the good news. Chloe, I'm divorced. We can finally be together openly. He excitedly hugged Chloe. Chloe, however, broke free from his embrace, her face showing no joy, only cold mockery. Ethan Miller, she took out her phone, opened a bank transfer page. The $1 million betrothal gift you gave me, I have already transferred it to your ex-wife. Ethan's smile instantly froze. What? You? And this? Chloe took out another document and threw it in front of him. This is the loan contract for your mortgaged property, and your ex-wife, Sarah Lee, is also the beneficiary. Ethan was completely dumbfounded. He looked at Chloe, then at the documents in his hand, his mind blank. Chloe, what? What do you mean by this? It means, Chloe said coldly, looking at him with disdain, I never intended to marry you. Ever since I found out you were lying to me, this has all been a game. A game to make you leave with nothing and ruin your reputation. No, impossible. Ethan couldn't accept this reality. He grabbed Chloe's arm. Don't you love me? You said you wanted to marry me. You even said your dad would arrange a vice president position for me. Love you? Chloe said as if she had heard the biggest joke in the world. Ethan Miller, why don't you take a look in the mirror and see if you're worthy? As for the vice president position? That was just an empty promise. My dad knew what kind of person you were a long time ago. He can't stand you. How could he let you into his company? Ethan was struck by lightning, staggering back a few steps, his face pale. Then why did you? Why? Chloe interrupted him, her eyes cold. Because you lied to me. You played me like a fool. I want you to taste what it's like to have nothing. Ethan completely broke down. He lost his marriage, his property, and the bright future that was within his reach vanished. He wanted to return to his old company, but found that his position had long been replaced. The person who replaced him was me, Sarah Lee. While I was secretly planning, I had already compiled and backed up the work results Ethan had used me to complete over the years, as well as the evidence of the shady projects he had handled. The day after he resigned, I took these things and went to the company's senior management. With excellent business skills and these initiation certificates, I successfully took over his position. Ethan had become a homeless and penniless loser. He was unwilling to accept it and wanted to come and find me, trying to salvage the situation. I met him at the coffee shop downstairs from the company. I hadn't seen him for a few days, but he looked 10 years older. His hair was thinning, his eyes were sunken, and he was mentally exhausted. Sarah, he said, his voice hoarse with a hint of pleading. I know I was wrong. Give me one more chance. How about we remarry? I picked up my coffee, took a small sip, and looked at his disheveled appearance. There wasn't a ripple of emotion in my heart. Ethan Miller, I put down the coffee cup and said calmly, do you think that I divorced you just because you had an affair with Chloe this time? Ethan was stunned. I smiled, a hint of cruelty in my smile. You're too naive. The moment you drugged me 5 years ago and stole my promotion opportunity, I sentenced you to death. For the past 5 years, I've been waiting for an opportunity to make you suffer an eternal damnation. I looked at his shocked expression and continued. Did you think I didn't know about your affairs? Lulu, Ing, and that newly graduated intern? I knew every time you cheated. I even know that you went to those shady places for excitement and contracted a shameful disease. Ethan's face turned pale instantly, his lips trembling. You, how do you know? I've seen your medical report long ago. I know more about the abnormal indicators you deliberately concealed than you do. I looked at him coldly. Did you think you could deceive everyone? Did you think I was still that silly woman you kept in the dark? As for Chloe, I paused, watching the color drain completely from his face. Did you think I had her call me new mommy just to cooperate with your acting and squeeze money out of her? Not entirely. I shook my head, my tone icy. It's also part of my revenge plan. I want you to personally bring your mistress to me. Let her willingly pay to support me, your rightful wife. And finally, let her personally send you to your doom. How does that feel? Exciting, isn't it? Ethan trembled all over, pointed at me, his lips quivering, but he couldn't utter a complete sentence. Also, I moved closer to him, lowered my voice, and spoke in a volume only the two of us could hear. Have you been feeling very unwell lately? Hair loss, bleeding gums, lethargy? Ethan looked at me in horror. Don't worry. It's nothing serious. I smiled slightly, my smile like a poisoned dagger. It's just that I used my nutritional knowledge to supplement you with some special nutrients over the long term. Don't worry, the dosage is well controlled. You won't die in the short term, but it's enough to make you spend the rest of your life in pain. You. Ethan pointed at me, his eyes wide, his breathing becoming rapid. Oh, right. I forgot to tell you. I stood up, looking down at him condescendingly. Chloe is actually child-free. She doesn't want children at all. The reason she's willing to give you money, besides taking revenge on you, is also to pay for damages. After all, being delayed by a scumbag like you for so long deserves some compensation, doesn't it? The last straw completely broke Ethan. He clutched his chest, his face turning purple, struggling to breathe, his body swaying, as if he would fall at any moment. This was a sign of a stroke. I coldly watched him struggle in pain, took out my phone, and pretended to dial an emergency number. Hello, is this the emergency center? Someone here has a sudden illness. The address is. After hanging up, I straightened my clothes, not even glancing at Ethan convulsing on the ground. At this moment, Chloe's car happened to stop in front of the cafe. She rolled down the window and gave me a relieved smile. I walked over and sat in the passenger seat. "Is everything resolved?" Chloe asked. "Yes," I nodded, fastening my seatbelt. "Resolved." The car slowly drove away, leaving behind the man who had once destroyed everything for me, but who was now utterly defeated, completely in the past. The sunlight streamed through the car window onto my face, very warm. I know my new life has only just begun.